Hi, everyone. Welcome to Women's Wednesday. I'm Susan Tran, and we are talking about Sober Curious today on Women's Wednesday. We have our friend Lisa Kays joining us. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's one of my favorite topics.
I love it. I love it because you are a clinical social worker, a therapist. You've worked in this space for quite some time. And it's just something that I started noticing on my social media pages, that everybody's talking about social awareness about alcohol and the sober curious trend or movement. So why don't we jump in with what is that?
The sober curious movement?
Yeah.
It is a movement that was largely started by women when they realized that AA and these traditional abstinence-based ways of getting sober were not working for women. They worked well for men, not great for women. And so they needed to get sober themselves, and they pioneered and wrote a lot of books and kind of came up with their own methods. And what they observed was that it wasn't working to just tell people to stop. Like that just isn't, depriving yourself just wasn't working. And that what really helped people was to go through a process of curiosity about their relationship with alcohol and to kind of run some experiments, observe, how is this helping me? How is this hurting me? And then using that data to let people decide for themselves how they might want to shift that relationship. And that might mean I'm going to stop drinking totally. It might mean I'm going to drink less. But giving people agency to really explore seemed to work better than just saying stop.
And the idea that AA wasn't working because that is we're stopping.
Yes. And
Okay.
this is a complicated thing, and I do not want to bash AA. AA has saved people.
It works
lives.
for so many people.
I am not here to bash. Everybody needs different things.
Right.
And there is a sort of dominance-based, or like you have to do it this way ethos to AA that I think doesn't work for women because they just come from a very different place in their experience. And so telling women what to do isn't as effective for them.
And why do you think this trend is really starting to pick up steam at this point?
I think some of it is just education. There's more known about how alcohol is a toxin, kind of like people were figuring it out about cigarettes. So we have more information about alcohol does contribute to cancer. It does have health effects that are not, people are using wearables now and they're very in tune to their health markers. And so I think they're aware. And then I think this sober, curious information, and people started having dry January, if you remember, letting themselves observe like, oh, I kind of feel better when I'm not doing this, or this is how this is affecting me. And so I think, and you have the advent of all these, there's so many non-alcoholic options for drinks and this sort of normalization of people not drinking. And I think that's kind of just culturally brought people along to where this is much more normalized to not drink.
And it's not this kind of, I don't know, it doesn't have as much stigma now. I feel like I have plenty of friends who are just, you know what, I'm just taking a break, or I'm having less, or I'm considering maybe cutting it out altogether, but it's a huge journey as opposed to an end.
Yes, and that is something that I think we have to thank these women writers about, Holly Whitaker and The Naked Mind and all of these different pieces, because what they kind of outlined was this is the weirdest thing. Like if you tell somebody, I'm going to stop smoking, everybody goes, great, good for you. But if people say I've stopped drinking, it used to be that it would be like, oh, you must have serious problems. And we would stigmatize it.
Right.
And these women kind of realized this is a really weird, contradictory thing. And we're making this a lot harder. And we need to look at this differently. And I do think that and the Sober Curious started shifting things for people. And so then you could proudly say, oh, I'm not drinking anymore. And people are not making that. It still happens, but they're not necessarily making these assumptions about you.
And this was all kind of a conversation. And I love that for women, we need a relationship based approach to things.
Yes.
We need to talk things out. We need to be curious about it. We need to explore. And has that been really helpful for the patients that you're seeing or the people that you're seeing?
I was thinking about this when I came over here. Everyone that I have worked with who has gotten sober, including men, has done it through more of a sober curious frame. They all come in, nobody comes in usually saying they want to stop. They say they want to change their relationship. And if I were to say to them, like, you have to just stop and that's the only way, that wouldn't have worked. They all had a long journey of their own experiments, their own reflection, their own looking at what is this doing for me and not. And eventually, most of them do end up sober, but it feels, I think, more real because it's not coming from someone on the outside saying, you need to live your life this way.
Right.
It's coming from inside of them going, oh, I've realized myself that this isn't working, and this is how I want to change my life for me.
Why do you think it's kind of this step-by-step journey that has been so helpful for so many people on the path to maybe not drinking at all, if anything, drinking less?
I think it's because it is such an individual process. Everybody starts drinking for different reasons, and alcohol serves a different purpose for different people. And so to undo whatever went into you starting drinking or continuing to drink, you have to go through an individual process of figuring out how you're going to reconfigure things that are going to work for you. For some people, it's a social thing. For some people, it's managing isolation. For some people, they're managing stress. Some people are managing anxiety, depression, ADHD. Like, you have to figure out what's under the addiction usually in order to be able to undo it. And that's so different for everybody else. So that's why that curiosity process really helps.
And it feels like this is like a long journey. I mean, you're not switching over the next day. Like, that's not going to happen. And so to have this kind of curiosity about it gives you like a long runway.
Yes, it also de-shames. The average person will relapse or go back to drinking 5 times before they attain long-term sobriety. So for some people, that's an average. Some people it's more, some people it's less. But that happens, in my experience, what I've observed, because people have to learn how to not drink. We had to learn how to drink, if you remember that process.
Yeah.
Not always fun. Sometimes involved a toilet and some gross things. But we also have to learn how to not drink. And so people usually have to go through and be like, oh, man, I thought I was fine. I went 3 months and then I went to this place and it turns out that messed me up. I got to like reconfigure. Or they learn, oh, I'm actually doing this to mitigate anxiety or depression. Maybe I need an antidepressant to kind of take the edge off that.
Okay, hold your thought. We'll be right back. You're watching Women's Wednesday. Welcome back to Women's Wednesday on DC News Now, and today we are talking about being sober curious with Lisa Kays, a therapist, licensed clinical social worker. And thank you so much for kind of walking us through this whole process. And before we left off, we were talking just about how it took a long time for us to appreciate or like alcohol. So to disengage from it, it might also take a while.
Yeah. Takes a minute, and we need to be gentle with ourselves. And I think a lot of what sets people back is shame. They kind of think, oh, there's something really wrong with me if I can't stop the first time, and so they'll go into shame and kind of give up. And that's what I love about the sober curious model is it says, no, there's nothing to be ashamed of. It's an addictive substance. Your brain is doing what the substance wants it to be doing. Let's go back and just see what we need to learn and see what we need to sort out.
And it's become so much easier now for people who are sober curious.
Yes.
I was just looking online, and in DC, there's a 100% alcohol-free bar. Yeah. And it's not just Shirley Temple's.
No, it's good. I've been there. It's good.
Key. Okay. And then there was even an LGBTQ bar that has a 1-for-1. So all cocktails have an 0 proof option. And then a whole website, Booze Free in DC, with listings with very, very lovely restaurants that have nice alcohol-free programs.
Yes, we're way past seltzer. Used to just be you had seltzer, and now we have so many more options.
That probably, though, kept a lot of people from maybe having that journey of being sober curious, because you don't want to be that one. You go out with all of your friends, and you're not just going to have, like, the seltzer.
Yeah. Or it looks really obvious, and then you have to have conversations about it. And in this area in particular, people's work is very tied to alcohol. Like if you like cocktails, networking parties. And so people have legitimate professional concerns about how do I transition to this and not have it like, have it people stigmatizing me or thinking something. And so these non-alcoholic options that basically you can look like you have a beer in your hand or look like you have, there's even 0 wines.
Yeah.
Or like legitimate cocktails so you don't have to feel like you're just drinking juice, I think do help a lot of people. Not everybody is into that. And, It's for some people, it's kind of, they think it's harmful for them and might like lead them back to drinking. But for a lot of people, it's a really good option.
Can you talk about how that is helpful because you do have that option, so you don't have to feel like you can't have this journey with all of your friends and all of your support really around you?
A huge factor in why people will return to drinking is a sense of feeling left out. It is a sense of being different, and it is a sense of having to navigate really difficult conversations. The number of conversations I have with people about weddings when they get sober is extensive. We do a lot of talking about weddings because if you think about how, alcohol is everywhere at weddings. And so these options where it's like, I mean, I've been to parties with my husband where the company has 2 or 3 like non-alcoholic cocktails. And it's so nice because there's no conversation you have to have. It's very inclusive if we think about inclusivity. And so it really gets through this layer for people of like, oh, this is going to be a thing, or I got to explain to so-and-so why I'm not, and then have them say, oh, are you sure you need, and it just cuts through that whole layer. And it's, it's more enjoyable taste-wise, and it gives you something interesting. You feel like you fit in, and some people like the taste of alcohol, and so it gives them like that taste without, the harmful aspects.
And there is that aspect. I have a lot of friends who are servers or in the restaurant industry, and they don't necessarily want to go to a bar and order a seltzer because there's this whole community around that, and having these cocktails that are just just as pricey,
Yeah, I know.
because they are beautifully crafted beverages. It does give you a sense that I am enjoying your space, I am enjoying the community, and I just enjoy another type of beverage.
Yeah, it's inclusive. I fit in. It's like I just think it makes everybody feel comfortable, and I think for the people that are drinking, they don't have to feel weird because like everybody, I think it just smooths everything. Inclusivity is always better.
And there has been, we were talking about women being part of the forefront of the sober curious movement. A lot of that had to do with like perimenopause and menopause, right? With just how some symptoms were exacerbated with alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the women. I think they were younger than like Holly Whitaker, and I think they were younger, but
Right. Maybe my Insta feed is different.
Yeah, it may be different. I could be wrong about that, but I absolutely think there's a correlation where women enter perimenopause and menopause, and alcohol starts affecting you very different. Your whole, it's people call it reverse puberty. Your whole body is shifting, and the whatever's going. I'm not a doctor. Whatever's going on. It can exacerbate hot flashes. It can exacerbate the anxiety that comes with menopause. It can exacerbate all kinds of things. And I think women start noticing, okay, I used to be able to have 2 glasses of wine a night, and now I'm like down. I'm feeling really bad the next day. And I think that starts to cause the reflection process about, is this what I want? Is it worth it? Is it good for me?
Right. And alcohol's always been disruptive with sleep.
Yes.
And so now it's even more so if you're in the perimenopause stage.
Yes.
And yeah, interesting. I never really thought that you're having all these symptoms and you're reflective about it. So you're like, okay, well, maybe I need to have a conversation about my relationship with alcohol.
That's what I've heard when women notice that the alcohol is affecting them differently. I've heard that can kick off that process. And a lot of my role is also to educate people about, because alcohol also exacerbates anxiety, depression, a lot of other symptoms that we think it's curing in the short term. But so it is a lot of education about how it affects sleep and these systems. And I think in perimenopause, it's like all of that just ratchets up to a 10.
All right. You're watching Women's Wednesday. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Women's Wednesday on DC News Now, and today we are talking with Elisa Kays, a clinical social worker, about being sober curious, which is this movement about women, mainly a lot of women at the forefront of it at least, deciding that maybe they want to drink less, maybe stop altogether, and it's a huge journey.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about like how women can go about this. It's not as cold turkey, so what do we have to do to start on this journey?
I think it is helpful. If you can do it cold turkey, go for it, but most people cannot, and most people need some level of support. Figuring out the kind of support that you need is going to be different for everybody, and it's great to do some experiments. But just remembering that you went through a chemical process to become addicted or at least habituated to alcohol. And so there's nothing wrong if you need therapy or some sort of support, if you want to try AA. If you need a little bit of help, there are a lot of medications right now that really help take the edge off of some of these symptoms and the cravings that can be really hard. And so I like for people to know there's a lot of resources. There's nothing to be ashamed about needing resources. And you can go get help from people who aren't just going to say, like, you have to stop tomorrow. That's not what most people are doing right now. And so you can really work through and figure out what's going to work for you.
I never thought about the fact that it took us a while to have this relationship with alcohol. So it might take a while to remove ourselves from it.
Yeah. If you think about any relationship you've had for 20, 30 years, if you all of a sudden decide to change it up, it's like there's going to be a transition period in that.
Right. That you might miss it.
Yeah. You might miss it. You got to set boundaries with it. And
Right.
and figure out do I want it to come to this party or not that? There's a lot that has to go on, and we want to be really gentle with ourselves through that.
That is such an interesting lens to consider. It's like sometimes I like to have this relationship, but sometimes it's really bad and I do horrible things or, it's not my best self that I want to present out there.
Right. Or I go hang out with that friend and I think I'm having fun, but I leave feeling very drained and tired.
Right.
Okay, maybe we don't want to see that friend anymore.
Right. And we don't have to cut them off cold turkey, but we can have this conversation about it. And should we give ourselves as much time for that? Are we talking like months, years? Like what is...
Whatever it takes for you. Most people that I have worked with, it can take months and years. Some people it's less, but yes, absolutely. I'm sober. I've been sober for 6 years. And I think for me, it was a 7 to 8 try multi-year. And that was with me knowing all the stuff. I had been doing addiction work forever. I knew intellectually, I knew the resources, I knew all of it. It still took me some trial and error and a pandemic because my difficulty was social, I realized. So the pandemic really helped me out because it was like, you can't go out anymore. But you really have to let yourself go through whatever process you need to go through.
That is just great advice. So don't be so hard on yourself and talk about some of the medications that, is this something you would get through a conversation with your primary care physician?
Could be your primary care. Some people go to see like a psychiatric nurse practitioner or a psychiatrist. There are addiction centers and you can do outpatient or inpatient. But 2 medications that I think can be really helpful that I like people to know about are naltrexone, which takes the edge off of cravings. So for the people it works for, it's like you're not going to have that mental kind of noise thinking about drinking, or it's going to turn it way down. And Antabuse is one that not everybody can take because it can cause liver issues. But for those who can, you take it in the morning, which is when the monkey brain about the addiction is not on. And then as you go through your day and around 5 o'clock, when maybe you're more likely to kind of be like, oh, I'm going to give in, Antabuse actually makes you violently ill if you drink alcohol. So when that brain starts to turn on saying, have a drink, you're like, no, I'm going to get sick. It gives you this concrete consequence, and most people won't drink on it. And so it gets them through that really intense relapse process. And then for some people, what they need is an ADHD medication because they've been self-medicating with that, or they need an anti-anxiety medication or an antidepressant. And so I love to tell people, like, it's okay to get help and some support with this. You may not need it forever, but for most people, the brain heals from addiction in about a year, and we can need some support through that year just to make things a little easier.
Okay, so it's like a medical healing
process. It's a medical
process.
condition. Yeah, it's a medical condition.
Why did I never think about this?
It's a chemically induced medical condition.
And so you're not just breaking a habit, you're like healing whatever
your brain has to heal. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So what would be your best advice for women, for people who are out there sober curious and just afraid to take the first step or afraid of the stigma or whatever barrier it is? What is your advice for them?
What I love to say is actually find the smallest step that you can take. So for me, actually, my sober journey began with an effort to drink more water, which is totally random and unrelated, but that ended up spiraling into, I was like, oh, I feel so much better when I'm hydrated. Alcohol is dehydrating. Interesting. But I would say, like, it can feel so insurmountable. So maybe the first step for you is buying the Sober Curious book. Or maybe the first step for you is going to be listening to a podcast about people talking. But to find a small first step, maybe for me, also what helped was talking to a friend who had gotten sober and being able to like listen to her and hear her story. So it doesn't have to be, I'm not going to drink tomorrow. And that's the whole Sober Curious. The Sober Curious books and a lot of the really good books actually start with, please don't stop. Don't keep drinking. We're just going to introduce some ways of thinking. So find like what you can do and start there. And then as you go on, if you find you need support, I would encourage people to find support. It's out there.
And you were also talking about how it's important to kind of give yourself grace.
Yes.
Because you're going to fail.
Yes. It's critical to give yourself grace. Like with everybody that I ever work with, my favorite line with them when they inevitably relapse is I say, okay, what did we learn? What'd you learn? They always learn something. So if we beat ourselves up and if we, shame ourselves, you're going to give up and you're never going to get there. It's like riding a bike. So we want to just keep, what did I learn? What did I learn? Okay. And you build from there and you're going to it's like building a muscle. You're going to get better at it.
Okay. But you were saying most people have like a 5-time.
That's the statistic is 5.
So don't give up.
No.
It's a journey. You can just be curious about it and
it's an experiment. It's
right.
an adventure.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Lisa Kay, so much for your time. You're watching Women's Wednesday. Have a great one.